A CDC study suggests the link between college classes and a rise in COVID-19 cases. Researchers looked at the data from 101 counties with large colleges and universities. They found there is a 56% increase in COVID-19 cases if schools started in-person classes, but there was an 18% decrease in the counties where schools used remote learning. In the meantime, the state today recommended elementary school students go back to class in person. Channel 11 News reporter Gabriella DeLuca explains why.
The State Department of Education is now recommending that elementary-age students return to in-person schooling in late January, saying that in-person schooling plays a critical role in child development. If you're the parent of an elementary school student, changes could be coming to how your child attends school. In a news conference today, Noe Ortega, the acting Secretary of Education, made the recommendation that elementary school students go back to in-person learning.
Beginning in the second semester, which typically begins around January 25th, and as local conditions permit, schools are going to be encouraged to allow for elementary school students to return back to campus, along with other targeted populations.
By targeted populations, Ortega means students with special needs or students who need special attention. And it's just a recommendation, not a mandate. Plus, it's still up to local school leaders to make the decision based on local factors like percent positivity and incident rates.
The educational benefits of in-person learning, especially for younger children, are very clear from an educational perspective.
The state is telling schools to make sure all mitigation efforts are still implemented. Jamel Bennett, who has a third grader in PPS, agrees.
As long as we can allow them to return safely and that, they're providing parents with the comfort that they're going to do everything they can to limit exposure, then yes, I'm all for them going back.
But the president of the Pennsylvania State Education Association isn't so sure it's the right call, saying in part, as COVID cases increase to near record levels in Pennsylvania and as a more contagious strain of the virus has been identified, this is no time to encourage schools to bring more students and staff in contact with one another. Ortega and Dr. Levine are still recommending fully remote learning for middle school students and also high school students. Reporting in Allegheny County, Gabriella DeLuca, Channel 11.